Hello, this is International Trade, Section C, Foreign Exchange, and the Balance of Payments. Our prioritized standard, Economic Standard 60. Objectively, we're going to evaluate the benefits or consequences of foreign exchange. Now, since different currencies are used in different countries, extensive international trade requires an organized system for exchanging money between nations. Now, when a business in one country imports items, it actually makes payments in the exporting nation's currency. So if we're importing something from Japan, we're at some point going to have to use Japanese currency to pay for that product. Now, foreign exchange markets actually transfer one nation's currency into that of another nation's currency based on an exchange rate. Now, an exchange rate is the price of one nation's currency in terms of another nation's currency. So, for instance, this represents the exchange rate for $1 if you wanted to translate that into a euro. So, for $1, you get 0.86 of a euro. Exchange rates can be set in a free market. They can be established through controls imposed by national governments, or they can be allowed to fluctuate within price ranges before triggering government action that's designed to stabilize the exchange rates between currencies. A change in exchange rates can have significant effects on the flow of trade between nations and on a nation's domestic economy. When the exchange rate between currencies change, it changes the relative prices of goods and services traded by the two countries. So exchange rates resulting in $1 equaling more foreign currency, as we see in this example between the US and the Mexican peso. This will cause imports from that foreign country to increase. Because, hey, we can get more stuff for the same amount of American dollars, so therefore you might want to go on more Mexican vacations. But U.S. exports to the foreign country will actually decrease. So therefore, since Mexicans can't get as much U.S. products for their money, they're not going to be getting as many U.S. products. Now, the change in exchange rates results in stimulated employment in the foreign country and reduced employment in the U.S. But the increased supply of foreign goods will help hold down those inflationary pressures. Now, changing exchange rates commonly mean one nation will gain while the other nation loses. So if the American dollar equaled 100 Japanese yen, then a Sony PlayStation 4 that cost 40,000 yen would actually cost $400 American. So how you calculate that? Well, 40,000 divided by 100, which is how many yen you can get for $1. So when you do that, you get $400. Now, if the value of the American dollar declined to equaling only 80 Japanese yen, then the same 40,000 yen Sony PlayStation 4 would then cost $500 American. So this time you take, again, your 40,000 divided by 80. Now it's going to cost you an extra $100 to get that same PlayStation 4. When the American dollar equaled more Japanese yen, an American would actually gain more than when it equaled less Japanese yen. Now, the balance of payments, or B/P for short, is an annual accounting record of all the international transactions that involve the payment or receipt of foreign exchanges. The balance of payments accounts are reported in three sections. One of those is trade of basic goods and services. Another is trade of capital resources and financial assets that are issued by businesses and governments. And the third is official transactions of reserve currencies and other assets. Transactions recorded in the balance of payments are commonly going to be separated into two portions, which are going to be the current account, which is going to show the value of goods and services bought from and sold to foreign countries, the income earned in foreign countries, and the income earned by foreigners in the country. So this part illustrates the current account. On this side is the current account. Now, the capital account actually keeps track of the flow of money or capital between nations. So like the money that we are actually investing in other countries, This is the capital account. So as you notice by this, the U.S. actually invests more money in foreign countries than other countries are buying our products. Countries often run surpluses or deficits in either their current or capital accounts, but the overall balance of payments account for a country must balance. So these look the same because, they basically are going to add up to zero. Now, the balance of trade figures regularly reported in the media include only the deficit or surplus portion of the current account. So the current account figures reflect only a small part of a nation's overall balance of payments account. Deficits or surpluses in the current account will be offset in the capital account. So you commonly hear about our massive trade deficit with China, which means we buy a lot of Chinese stuff. They do not buy as much of our American stuff. But that doesn't tell the whole story because we actually invest a lot more money into their businesses. A lot of the factories making cheap plastic junk are actually going to be owned by a lot of Americans because we are investing a lot more money there than they are investing. So therefore, the balance of payments as a whole is what is important, since it helps a nation to understand the state of its economic relationships with the rest of the world and helps nations make appropriate decisions about their policies concerning world trade and finance. All right, that concludes international trade, section C, foreign exchange, and the balance of payments. Our prioritized standard again was economic standard 60. And objectively, now you can evaluate the benefits or consequences of foreign exchange.